So it's straw poll for the I mean, a straw poll for this, like, who's more Protoss, McCree or May? And it's got me thinking, like, May is actually very literally more Protoss, though, because the ice wall is basically a force field, so.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just in terms of who you hate. Looks like Hino SC beat Insane, by the way. He or she will move on to fight against Fear. I'm assuming he. I'm going to be sexist, whatever. And Guru won to fight against KeeN. So do Guru versus KeeN next, I think.
Oh.
All right, so that could work out. ZVT, the winner plays against Mana in the semifinals. Then we'll go to the other semifinals and have that grand finals and back on schedule for things, which will be nice. May has concussive shells, though. May does not have concussive shells, actually. Slow. She has a like flamethrower-esque ability that slows you, not a gigantic shot that slows you.
She actually would be an ice bat. Should be like that one concept art. Anywho, did you message Guru?
I messaged KeeN, if you want to message Guru, I guess.
Because he's in game, but I guess he's just in a lobby.
Why is he in game?
No, he's in a lobby. Like, first it said in game,
okay,
and then it said, I guess he's just in a lobby.
I was like, he's like, yes, I beat Penguin, time to go play ladder to celebrate, like.
Yeah. Ew. Come to my lobby. It's better.
Alright. It smells like potpourri in here, whatever that is.
Poopery.
Smells like poopery. Shut the fuck up. Where's that poop about? This be like the one time it's appropriate to use it. It's appropriate to use it.
Oh, Jesus.
The puns. Yo, I was like, actually, I'm like 99% sure this is just because everybody at the reunion was super drunk. But I was a pretty big hit with my puns. I was telling all the good pirate jokes too. Like, what did the pirate say on his 80th birthday?
So, you had fun at your high school reunion.
You're not gonna no feed it. What the fuck? What did the pirate say on his 80th birthday?
What did he say?
Aye, matey.
You told that one before to stream. So, just saying.
All right.
Ready to go?
Guru has joined us. Yes, I'm ready to go. It's dusk. This is great seeing chat's reaction in real time and not forever later. Not the awkward silence. Look at that. There's some lulls in there, Zombie Grub. Some people laughed out loud at that. Because nobody
did.
Nobody in the internet would ever lie.
I think they went, huh, that was kind of funny.
Actually, before we even do intros, this is an important topic to me. I mislearned LOL first. So unfortunately for me, for the rest of my life, LOL to me is always going to mean lots of laughs, not laugh out loud. And it actually makes more sense. But hang on. It actually makes more sense. Because have you ever actually laughed out loud after typing LOL? Never. Fucking never.
Only if I caps LOL. Did I actually laugh out loud?
Actually, that's not bad because that's the emphasis on, oh my god, that was actually funny. But my point of it is, it's a lot more easy to casually type LOL if you're like, lots of laughs, ha 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 ha, like, than it is to actually laugh out loud. So I'm just saying, I may have learned it wrong, but I feel like I learned it right. Anyways, spawning in the upper right side of Dusk Towers here for the round of 8 in the Corsair Cup, we've got the Korean contender, the Blue Terran KeeN.
In the bottom left, as the green Zerg, he is Guru.
Man, I feel like I have a lot more people on my side in chat when we're like live and not a delay. Is that what the magic is? Is it like for 3 years, the delay has been screwing me over here in the Rifkin versus Zombie Grub Wars?
Yes, that's exactly what has been the problem. I actually tell them to laugh.
Oh,
like,
so yeah,
not to laugh
in the 3 minutes. Delay. I get it, because I often hear you typing and tabbed out. I assume that's it's true. Twitter or something important on Skype with our admin, but really it's been you messaging everybody individually. Hey guys, he's gonna tell a joke in 2 minutes. Don't fucking say anything.
I just mass PM, man.
Do you have any idea how
whoever disobeyed me?
Do you have any idea how crazy paranoid that would make somebody if they ever learned that was a thing? Oh my, you already know I have enough problem accepting that we have real fans. Like, if that was...
I still think I'm in the Truman Show situation, so I'm just suspicious of everyone.
He's always very like, yeah, sure.
Is it just me, or does anyone else think that Diamond Grab's hot? Someone paid you to say that.
Is it just me, or does anyone else think Diamond Grab's hair looks fantastic? And also, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Man, that show, I will say though, I don't think there's a single person who saw that movie and didn't for like a second consider like, hey, wait a minute. Like, I very quickly got over that. Clearly you didn't. Clearly you didn't escape on the boat to find the wall was fake and it wasn't really sky all along.
I mean, that is the one thing that convinced me that I'm not in the Truman Show, is that I don't have a fear of water. I freely went in the ocean when I was a kid.
I feel bad. I just spoiled the shit out of the Truman Show for anyone that hasn't seen that movie from like 25 years ago.
What? That was the ending? No!
No! Actually, what really bugged the shit out of me for that movie was like that girl that like held on for so long afterwards. I'm like, get on with your life, lady. Like, why are you watching this show like a stalker? For like, yo, she was the original stream creeper. Oh my
Wait,
god.
the girl that helped him?
Yeah, but then she also like waited for him, and like when he finally like escaped, she like ran to him and shit like that. Like,
Well, wasn't she like helping him from the outside? Like, I mean, she wasn't just like waiting behind bushes.
binoculars out and ready to go. We saw two different versions of the Truman Show, apparently. All right, Hellions gonna come across the map, but there really wasn't a dedication through this. Sorry, guys, we're getting a little bit silly, but this wasn't. There wasn't an armory. There wasn't a medevac. This is just a pretty normal opening coming out of KeeN.
Yep. The one, like, you know, slight, tiny, like, difference being that he put his third on location, which is quite bold. Quite bold, because usually that's easily scouted and then easily, like, denied like a handful of lings, but Guru, funnily enough,
he's not even seeing the main. He's only just getting his first view on anything outside of that first barracks. Also, Batokage, however I say your name, please fuck off. Please leave. Don't be writing stuff like that, man.
I don't get it. Oh, I get it. Never mind.
Although you spelled easiest really wrong.
Well, that's actually what threw me off. I wonder if it was like an inside joke. Sorry.
I feel bad because you nail it on like the context of a joke, but then you spell a word, and it's not even a difficult word, right? Like words like beginning even are not that difficult, but you can understand how people misspell them. How do you misspell easiest like that?
The first time I ever told someone that I was like the tiniest bit paranoid that I was like in a Truman Show situation, it was to my best friends, and they all collectively said we don't get paid enough to do that.
Nice.
And I was just like, so wait, you are getting paid?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
What's going on here? All right, command center in the air. This was a bit of a spook moment for KeeN, but he does actually not have to worry about this. So lands it again. Get the SUVs over there. His marine count's also building up really nicely. So while Guru's going for a spire, we still don't see a choice of dedicated tech. This may only be a couple of mutas, but if it's going to be a lot of them, it's not going to serve him well without proper ground support. I mean, we don't even have... Is there really no Bailey Nest even? No, Guru's like skip past everything you would expect to have in a TvZ. No Roach Warren, no Ravagers, no Bailey Nest, straight to Spire.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's a build we don't see too often anymore, but it is, right? Where you actually go for all the hatches that you would ever want. Apparently that's 5, actually, double expanding. And then you go for the Spire as soon as possible after that. So, you know, not too base, but not super late either. That will take away his upgrade, so Guru's going to be quite behind on that. So, like, the 1-1 probably won't be what kills him, but 2-2 might be, like, a really hard thing for him to stop.
I'm loving, by the way, all the other people having trouble with words like necessary and otherwise. Does anyone else have trouble with license? I always mix up the C and the S in license the first time. Have to do a double take and then correct it. This surround out of Guru was fantastic.
It was way too bold of KeeN to actually do that, but I guess he still worked out.
Yeah, the reinforcements barely clean that up. I'm actually shocked. This is something where that looked like it was going to be complete, like, just cripple, pick up, leave, and try and go home with what you can, but this is enough to knock down the base.
This was without combat shields, without any upgrades, like a single medevac. Blings suck. Just what I learned today.
Hard Revenge is ratting you out in chat, by the way. I see what's up.
Mass paranoia. Alright, so the mutas come though, and Guru did double expand, so he cancels that one expansion, not the biggest deal, to send your drones over to the other one. So KeeN actually didn't do that much damage, and he did lose kind of almost everything on that attack.
I mean, killing the base would have been fantastic if it came without another base up here, which KeeN doesn't know about. So Guru may have lost one, but he's still going to be able to transfer to the other. The Baneling Nest finally finishes up, and I guess the mutants are kind of working. Turret's down, so this won't get too bad, but this was something where I really thought straight to mutants would get him killed from that push. Like, I really thought that push was going to be... Like, before the Lings even touched it, you're like, okay, there's going to be no defense. Like, he's gone straight to mutants. How could this possibly work out?
Well, it is important to note that KeeN also pushed before I think any other Terran would have. So it was kind of like a weird situation where KeeN was trying to kill someone trying to go for mutas. Actually still got cleaned up. And, I mean, I guess everything's kind of back to normal, but it was a very oddly timed push. Now he has 1-1 combat shields and enough medevacs.
This is, I will say, greedy out of Guru if he's thinking he's got the time to just coast on over to Hive Tech. It's not bad to go to Hive, and of course we've seen players make fast ultras work all the time, but this is something where he did just take such a strange attack and such a strange timing. Is he really going to risk just going straight to? Yeah, he is. His Hive starts up right now.
Yeah. This is very risky, I agree. Whoa, KeeN's going for extreme Marauder production. 4 at a time. Damn. He'll certainly have enough Marauders if Ultras do come out.
I feel like
the Focus Fire.
4 Marauders, 8 Marines, 2 to 4 Liberators. That's like your late game, I'm on 4 or 5 base situation. I'm just more shocked that he's doing it on 3.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. Right. This Marauder production is early, not unexpected for late game TvZ, but it's not quite to late game TvZ yet. They'll certainly be able to soak up a lot of Baneling hits, so they're not like useless, just as usually would see a lot more Marines with this composition initially. And maybe he is just hoping that not only will they soak up Baneling hits, but then say that Guru just barely gets the Ultras out in time, he'll already have at least the first line of defense against Ultras, which is focus firing with like tons of Marauders, and then the second line is going to be all the Liberties he's making right now. KeeN, I guess, has really just been like, I guess the first push didn't work, so let's go to late game. Like, he's ready to accept it.
Well, I'm not convinced this is going to be the way to go about it. We've talked about this many, many times. Mass bio, while some Koreans have made it work, just generally fails when it comes to fighting that composition. Liberators, though, going to get some nice hits on those mutas, drive those back immediately.
Yeah,
that was a bit
already
surprising.
5 Liberators. Yeah, the mutas are really, they're not going to be too useful anymore.
I like this. Guru's go for a couple of Corruptors. I really don't think you need that many. I'd love the idea of having a couple, though, in the army to just kind of at least force the Liberators to not so freely be on the front lines.
I really wish KeeN would push. He's almost maxed out. Okay, he is pushing while taking the 4th base, and actually pushes into Guru's push. So Guru's off of creep. I don't think he would take this fight.
No, tank shots are not too bad. There's even Widow Mines pre-set up for it too, so he's going to back up now, realizing the situation he's in. The Ultras Cavern's only like halfway finished, and it's on the front lines. That's what really scares me for this. Guru's going to need just 1 second by the looks of it, but this is something where the army here... Well, the Banelings look really cool on the pause screen. Anyways, he's got a lot more Banelings where they're coming from. His situation is not too dire yet, but that is a very exposed, very important building, and he's going to have to keep that alive all through the time it takes to get chitinous plating. Any of these Ultras built before chitinous plating might as well not even be used. Like, the supply would probably be better off in anything else.
Yeah. This is on creep,
Oh,
and
Banelings get such a good fight.
Damage.
Even with that was a monster Widowmine hit, but even then, this cleaned up all the Liberators. The meters are low, but they'll clean up what's left. This ends up being a really good defense out of Guru. It cost him a lot, but it bought him all the time in the world he needs to take that next step.
Yeah, he certainly still has a bank to go for Ultralisk. I don't know what KeeN was really thinking with not just pushing on a creep, because I think eventually you're going to have to with how much creep there is, but just letting himself be in such an open position, you know?
I think he really thought that those Liberators were going to kill the mutas and they'd have a fun time afterwards. But the Corruptors were a bit of a surprise. The mutas lived through that splash damage. What am I hit? It's going to be awkward.
Well, now KeeN is in quite a pickle. His army supply is even, but it's really not accounting for the power of Ultras. The mutas are doing a surprisingly great job now that Liberators are really in play because there's so many Marauders, not many Marines.
You brought that up earlier. The heavy investment into Marauders early on would have been great had there been roaches or something waiting for him, but the fact that there's mutas, and there's how many have even died this game? Only 6. Only 6 mutas have died for like countless Marines and Liberators. I gotta tell you, I can't see KeeN taking this game making these same mistakes.
No, I don't think he was going to take this game at all. The mutas at this point really are enough to deal with KeeN's forward push, because every single time you bushes like this, I mean, look how many Marines are here. Not many at all, and they usually have to stay behind the Marauders. That's easy pickings. This is where Liberators usually come in and just make it impossible, but he's stopped producing Liberators.
I almost feel like he pulled back because he's like, there's no way you're pushing with this little. Like, there's got to be something else behind this. You're trying to bait me. But instead, no, it was just a desperate push. Gets a base snipe. Not too bad. But now the counterattack's going to go off. And these do have chitinous plating now. Marauders and Marines are going to struggle to hurt these Ultras. Unless they're on the front lines with no support whatsoever.
Well, that's easily focus fired. The Widowmine's also got a couple of hits on the Ultras as well.
The Link should have been on top of the Marauders from the get-go. This was terrible engagement out of Guru, but... yeah, he's got money, he's got a bank, he's got control. Looks like he cleaned up those drops to the south. Coming back home, they'd actually die into the Corruptors. Oh, no.
There isn't enough. If this was all Marauders, funnily enough, maybe he's like focus firing really, really well. Planetary has to help as well.
What's hilarious is, like, I don't think Guru's actually playing very well right now, but he's kind of just like, haha, I got Ultras, so,
yeah,
you know.
I got Ultras, let's do it.
This is where you start talking about balance and making skill comments on the players. But no, like, in all seriousness, like, Guru way dedicated to that. And I guess he felt like maybe there's a bit of confidence there, cockiness, whatever you want to describe it as, to let him push in. I do like that he had he understood they needed to pull back, because if he had stayed there, he would have lost everything.
Yeah. The muni count is still stupidly high for such a late game scenario where Liberators have been built. It's like they've never been built. They're being rebuilt right now, but he's had good control over them this entire time. So, like, keeping in mind having to rebuild missile turrets is actually going to be a problem for KeeN eventually, because as he keeps on expanding, he's going to forget about his main base, and that's when the mutas come in and start killing production.
If you guys are going to laugh at something I say, please do not back it up with "don't worry, I actually mean it," okay? Please, this is the worst thing you can do. Alright, Widowmine's clear out some of the legs of that front line. Liberator's actually getting some decent shots, but that's where that Corruptor bank really works out nicely. Muta's going a little bit haywire, but for the most part, once again, Guru is in a bad spot, despite how good of a fight and how much control he's had. And this is, I feel, so very little to the amazing moves out of KeeN, and Guru's just doing stupid things like running into Liberators.
Yeah, he's seriously over-dedicating every time he pushes in. He's also missing at least one crucial unit from his composition, the Infestor.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say even two, because Queens at this point could probably be joining the army with how much creep spread there was. Although, well, I mean, trying to fix that.
It's not only that, Ghost Snipes did a lot of damage in that fight, and there was no fungal growth sitting on top of them to interrupt that damage. 9 more ultras are coming out, though, so we are officially in face roll territory.
Yeah, right. And with the Infestors coming out, that's going to help. They do not have patching glands, but he's really in control of where the fights are being taken and when they're being taken, so you can really wait a while. They each have a Roach Warren coming down at 15 minutes. Maybe he's thinking about Ravagers. I don't know why, though. His Cryptos are doing a decent enough job against the Liberators. Maybe just something a little meatier than Lings. I actually have no idea what the Roach Warren's for, but it's options. I
think it might be strictly Ravagers for the Liberators should the game progress, because I mean he's lost a lot of his air, and I don't think he wants to invest in Corruptors anymore.
He has 5 Corruptors still, though. Like, I thought they've been doing a fine job.
I think they have been too. I'm rationalizing. I'm not saying that's definitively why. I'm trying to figure out like what other options you could possibly want a Roach Warren at 15 minutes into the game when you already have Ultralisks.
Yeah, that's curious. We'll see if he ever makes it. I mean, this could just be like the Terran equivalent of getting everything. Unfortunately, you know, we have a bunch of like miscellaneous on our tech lab, on our starport, and our engineering bays. Zergs don't really have miscellaneous upgrades. They're just like get all the tech, get all the stuff. Speaking of all the tech, where's the Good Spire?
So that's a good question, but I was actually going to say, speaking of miscellaneous upgrades, Nathaniel's bringing up a good one in chat back from the beta, when Medevac got the blue beam that would basically keep a unit alive forever. Nothing could kill anything under that blue beam.
Yeah. 4 Ultralisk drop, I feel is not as good as, like, 32 Ling drop, wherever much that would be, right? Like...
Well, especially
I don't know.
With Ghosts coming in production, it's going to be a lot easier to clean this up with a couple of snipes, but I guess a lot of these are on the front line. Snipes going off once again on the Ultras. Drop in the main. There's not that much production here to actually compromise, with all things considered. He's put a lot of his production in his natural. The Ghost Academy's down here.
Lings would be so much harder to clean up. Like, Liberators wouldn't be very good against them at all. Ghosts would just be surrounded. And it'd be a lot cheaper, too.
Okay, so those of you who don't know, Winter's BattleNet tag is like Ultra Drop Harass. It's literally happening right now.
Big fight going down in the middle of the map. KeeN is actually getting a lot of like just concave, like his army was
Ghosts.
entirely spread out. The ghosts were actually getting shots off.
They
and
EMP'd
KeeN's
the
not doing a terrible
infestors.
job.
This went God mode on it.
11 ultras? What the fuck?
Guru, like this makes me so mad. You're like, Guru, how are you getting away with this? This like there's that Breaking Bad. Like he can't keep getting away with it. Like
Right? Oh, those SCVs are all stacked up. That's fine.
well, luckily there wasn't that many.
Right? Yeah, only 6. So KeeN has a big bank. Right now he's having trouble using it because it is, Terran production is usually just, it's going to be slower than probably any other production in this late game unless you really over dedicate to barracks. And 8 barracks is probably too little. But he's going to want to be using it as well as on those more medevacs, liberators, probably more command centers at some point. He's expanding with planetaries right now, but even 1 or 2 orbitals.
I mean,
Like Beast of Cutie styles.
Can we talk about how Guru didn't kill any of the production? He
did
ran
nothing
over
with
here
that.
and killed 6 SCVs and a depot or 2.
Yeah, I think he killed a gas geyser in the main base. Like, that was really a worthless drop that I just, again, would have been
It
so
was
better with
4
Bane,
ultras.
but whatever.
Freaking ultras.
What he wants to do. See, this is also where I think a Nidus run would be so much better for, if you're going to do Ultra Harass,
Yes,
let's
actually,
do
because
a Nidus.
then you can retreat afterwards if you start finding yourself in a bad position. Agreed. Army coming out for the fight once again. Ghost being pulled to that back line. Funny enough, there's actually not that much fodder on the front lines for the Ghosts anymore, but they find their ability to snipe nonetheless. Gonna pick up some more of these Ultras, but 11 Ultras is a lot of Ultras to have to deal with.
Those damn Widowmines are the Overseers, like the useless thing to get
Yo, the Changelings are actually blocking out the Ultras for the Ghosts.
Well, that's
Guru's
helpful,
killing
but it looks
himself.
Like 11 Ultras is finally the magic number.
I don't think it is. Well, maybe. Okay, he's finally on top of that production. But the Liberator's sitting on that ramp, killing everything. The Infestors are dead. He's losing the Ultras at the
Really?
rate at which he's killing like a barracks or 2 per Ultra.
I can't, he's actually gonna lose these Ultras. They can't do anything against
I know.
This is where the Ravagers would
The
be
Ghosts
useful.
lived. The Ghosts lived.
Oh my god. How? This is KeeN's, like, okay, so
This
Guru
makes me
still
so
has enough
fucking
economy,
mad. This makes me so mad.
Right?
This is the type of game where, like, even if I wasn't Terran and I'm watching this, I'm like, Blizzard, David Kim, please.
To be clear, what's so frustrating is we see so many Ultra games where they get to Ultra and it's game over, like really easily even.
Yeah.
We can't even complain about that anymore.
No, but that's what I'm
Terran's
saying.
fault.
Right, that's like casual mode in fucking World of Warcraft. It made everyone bad at the game. So Guru's like, I could just play with Ultras because they don't take much skill. And just fucking lose over and over and over and still make more units.
4 Ultraless, not quite maxes, but still like rounds, like 9
I'm
to
fucking
11
triggered,
each
Zombie
round,
Grub.
and they still is not. They're not winning. Just makes me. It does make me facepalm a little bit. It's just so funny though, like how this is what happened in Heart of the Swarm. Like the reliance on just the Ultras really was killing a lot of like Heart of the Swarm Ultra games, or they find themselves in SimCity or something. So
Yeah.
Guru by going for 11 Ultras, but not like 8 Ultras, 50 Lings, and 4 Infestors, I think is what's killing him. And he did this lose all those Infestors too in that fight.
I mean, once again, Guru has a really great army behind this. And while KeeN's economy was like knocked down hardcore, he's still got mules to fall back on. He did make a lot more orbitals than I expected, and he floated some over too. So while there's a couple planetaries standing, he's back on course for mining. And I think eventually his production starts kicking in. But right now, as it stands, Guru's army is much swarmier. And this is something where he's investing in a lot more lings. And I like that idea, but it appears to be like he's either oring it. Like, he doesn't get Ultras with Ling support. He gets Lings without Ultra support. Like, he's going one way or the other, pretty extreme on both sides.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And I mean, Lings could be the solution. Oh,
Okay, this
finally
is
Ling
so
drops.
much better.
It is so much better. We're giving Guru so much crap. I'm sure he's giving himself crap, to be honest, though. Like, I mean, I gotta imagine you're not used to having to remake 4 different Ultra rounds, so he's probably like...
Oh, there we go. This is that Ravager combination. That's gonna be
go.
really nice. Corrosive Biles paired up with the fungal growths. Drop in the main, you're right, it's gonna be tough as nails to clean up. Like, 1 or 2 Liberators dealt with all the Ultras before. Now you actually need your army for this, and unfortunately the army needs to be elsewhere to match this army. God, that's a lot of Zerglings.
Just start producing Widowmines, like nothing but Widowmines. Oh god, the Marauders are doing a terrible job against the Lings as well, and that's mostly what
He's
KeeN's
got
been
lift.
getting.
He's not lifting. KeeN's losing a lot. He just lost command center. He had like 3 mules worth of energy on it.
This is 3 Adrenal Gland Lings. They're gonna do some serious damage.
Yeah, anything they touch is gonna die.
Yeah. Looks
So,
like a drop killing or a liberator
think-
killing a couple of drones
I think this is where Guru finally wins.
with lings. Yeah.
Because if this was
KeeN
planetaries all over, he'd still have secure mining. But he's only got like one planetary, and it's down here. GG.
Yeah, that took a time.
I'm so triggered after that game, though. Like, more so because Guru won. If KeeN won that game, I would be like, you know what, guys? I was a fucking asshole speaking out of my ass and like this, that, and the other for Zerg. But for me, I look at that game and I'm just like, ultras are really freaking cool. You know that? That's all I can say. The link swap at the end was fantastic. Guru did play that really smart once he finally, I think, realized that he was starting to potentially throw everything out the door. But we'll get to game number 2 in a moment. Guru's also streaming his matches if you guys want to go watch. We'll be back in a second, though, after this break. Ah, it worked. I love this new feature where you can, like, ban somebody or time somebody out, but then attach a reason to it. That's amazing. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are going to get into game number 2 in this best of 3. Spawning in the bottom left side of Runes of Endion, we've got the Green Zerg player, Guru, playing for True Esports.
In the bottom right, as the Red Terran, he is KeeN. The green he's playing for.
I think he's I'm going to
Freaka?
guess a Freak of Freaks to kind of become the new MVP, where just like everybody appears to be on Freak of Freaks.
Yeah, they really are. You're right. Big freaks.
So I just want to clarify though, because the complaints are maybe a little bit valid. Sometimes we like to have a little bit of fun, guys, as things get a little bit crazy. But for me, what killed me about that game has very little to do with like Zerg's OP and nerf Zerg. I don't think that's the case at all. What I do find funny though is watching the way aspects of Zerg should maybe be retooled is a better way to phrase that, because look what Guru did to finally win that game. It was overwhelmed with just lings and lings and more lings, and finally do things smart and intelligent. Like, again, a 24 ling drop makes a lot more sense to me than a 4 ultralisk drop type thing. So it was just silly watching how much he could get away with doing such, we'll say, inefficient moves.
Yes. So I'm just gonna say it to like the chat who are all complaining that we're biased. Okay, yeah, probably. You're never gonna not be biased when you play a race, but it is about watching a game like that and just being like, this is silly. Like this isn't like a balance complaint, but this is silly. You could have done this so much better.
This bias comes from casting many games over multiple regions amongst the top players too. This isn't like Rifkin and Zombigrub's shitty ladder experience bleeding over into like pro commentary.
Right?
Like this is something we see this happen all the time. And if anyone's really truly upset by this, by all means, please feel free to leave, because that's not changing anytime soon. Not until something about the actual game itself changes.
Yeah. It's almost like, you know, my lack of playing ladder actually should promote me as even better caster, because none of my personal views affected. I haven't lost ultras like that in like a year, okay? So what do I care?
Because you haven't fucking played. The lack of passion is so real right now.
But seriously, that was just, I mean, and this, I said it right. Guru probably also was thinking, like, oh my god, I can't believe I can't kill this freaking Terran. What am I doing? Just going in and in and in again. And then he realized, like, let's just overwhelm with lings. Like, for him, that probably wasn't the best game of his life, where he's like, oh no, it was so hard. Like, I can't believe I won that game. It's more like, I can't believe I didn't finish that game as fast as I should.
I can't believe I didn't win already, or like, yeah, other variations of it. This game though is gonna be shaken up a little bit different. Roachhorn already coming down, so not at the 15-minute mark, but also probably because the strategy is gonna cater towards it a little bit more. KeeN may come into this thinking, okay, I've got that 3-base scenario pretty much for free. It's what happens on Runes of Endion all the time. But if Guru's gonna come across the map early, be it through a Night Disarm or just by tearing down rocks, Roaches and Ravagers are not easy to deal with unless you've got specifically tanks that you can drop around. Usually, most of the time, unless you're doing some sort of weird, cheesy, aggressive build, you're not going to have 4 or 5 barracks down, producing enough units to actually deal with a composition like that. Alternatively, these 6 or 7 roaches may just simply be early game units because he's expecting something himself, but trust me, I'm pretty sure he's going to go for some sort of attack.
Yeah. This should be like a good start to have that tank and medevac, but without a bunker or just like basically holding up in your main base, this is probably still gonna do a lot of damage. KeeN is getting some minimal scouting with this Reaper, and he's seeing there's this like not quite a suspicious lack of drones yet at that 3rd base, so unfortunately I don't think it's telling him enough. Oh, this drop.
Oh, no. He needs
If
everything
it goes
at
to the
home.
middle, if it goes to the middle, it's actually going to see the roaches. Oh, the Reaper does.
What the fuck? Okay, well, the Reaper lives. And, yeah, the roaches are revealed, but he's still going to go for the drop. So the idea, I think, behind this one is that, like, maybe you get there before they break the rocks down, and then you draw your opponent back home. But that medevac not being here to shuffle the tank around means those Ravagers are going to be able to throw their corrosive biles, and the tank's going to die to it, maybe. Okay, new medevac comes out. Try to shuffle this around. The attack out of Guru here could be stopped. The drop on the other side is certainly cute to see. We'll see if it's enough to actually draw the reinforcements back home. Because Guru is on the other side of the map. He has broken the rocks down. Lots of Lings are flooding because he's just looking to overwhelm at this point. I love the quick wall coming down on KeeN too. It's an absolute like makeshift, I need to get a wall down right now type thing, but he needs it.
Yeah. It's actually, I don't think I've ever seen this wall actually go down on ruins. Usually they just kind of give up on the wall idea and just put bunkers down, but the wall is helping, the bunker holds, and with 2 tanks, this shouldn't be doing any damage. It really is about getting into the SCV line and forcing the tanks to move around where things start to get a little bit hairy with an attack like this. But just going right into the tanks, this is exactly what KeeN wants.
Well, the bunker's going to break, and that's going to let a lot of these Lings through, but I feel like, yeah, a decent SCV pull, a new supply depot going down. He can fill this hole in the wall pretty easily, but not lose the tanks. Not something he can afford to lose. Quickly picks it up, goes for the other one, doing his best to keep these alive, but he doesn't have enough medevacs or, of course, fingers to keep up with this. 7
SCVs have gone down, but it looks like he might just kill this third base of Guru,
that
and he
would
does
certainly help make up for it.
The roaches.
I'm surprised he's trying to complete that depot, so it's just canceling it to it's going to be on fire when it finishes. Other side of the map, you're right though, the third base is about to die. Lings are coming out 1 or 2 at a time, but they're being dealt with because it's a medevac covering these Marines. It's getting dicey. It's getting dicey.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Lings now.
Too many Lings. Oh man, he was so close to killing that third base.
I would argue
he just
that
needs a tank over.
Well, that's the thing. I think he needs to, because if he doesn't actually kill that base, his 21 SCV's lost. That's a pain in the ass to replace. Does Guru not know that there's a third down? No. Oh, the Overlord's like,
oof.
Misinforming him. There we go. Now he goes in to confirm that's the case.
Yeah.
Liberator's going to cover these Marines, I guess, as they sit in the mineral line and try to finish this off. Kind of cool.
That is a good idea.
Kind of a cool way to go about it.
Looks like the third will be going down. Lings trying to go into the third base to at least return some of the damage, but they're going to get a couple SCVs at most, and they really shouldn't get that third CC. Just lift it. And KeeN is looking actually in a very good position, despite losing 21 workers. With his last one's coming from that third base. He's the one with 3 CC. Guru's back down at 2 base, and I don't even know who's going to get with his lair.
Well, that's the thing. It's probably speed upgrades if I had to guess. I think you continue dedicating down this path. But it's interesting to see they very specifically chose armor upgrades, because I think he is feeling indecisive about which direction he wants to go with this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if lair was finished, you could have creep blocked the command center, but that's a can of worms.
I was going to lose that Overlord. I was wondering if he's going to go for a Spire. Like, yeah, you could continue dedicating to what you have, but that is also kind of like playing a numbers game in a mirror matchup. If you both go Roaches and they have a better economy, then you're probably going to lose. But if you went for Spire, then maybe something happens. I think that's what he's kind of doing here. He realizes that A, drops might be a big issue, because hell, it's Terran, and they do that. But also just that they might be able to bring KeeN back, so his third base can actually get up and back to mining, and that's a lot of hope to pin on what is going to be maybe 8 mutas.
Yeah, I mean, for Guru, this is probably something where he didn't expect this to not work out. Like, this attack, the timing, Ruins of Endion, you're up 1-0, you want to finish off your Korean opponent quickly. All of those signs kind of pointed towards a quick victory. The fact that KeeN is forcing this to play out makes this really awkward. You could actually have this play out in macro sense, and maybe KeeN over-dedicates to bad engagements, and Guru can finally pull ahead through that. But man, like a macro hatchery, the third base down, you might have all this larva, but Guru just doesn't have the money. Like, this is going to be really weird watching production kick through. Knocks down the rocks. This would be a great way to take advantage of some of the map design.
Yep. I think he could have gone for the main, like, the jugular or whatever, try to just kill him. But
I agree.
Going for this little bit of harassment is also a pretty safe way to do things, and might still get the third base again, which is, third base goes down again. That's the big game. Well,
that's a pretty key aspect, too, because he didn't actually know, like, what did Guru have behind this, right? Like, it could have been nothing. It could have been a lot of Lings and Banelings. So this fight goes a little bit awkwardly. Ravagers getting picked off. Tanks being kept to safety. Barely. Oh, barely being the emphasis.
Oh, that was close. Upgrades are about to finish up for KeeN. It's going to be 1-1 lead, and I guess Combat Shield still has to wait a little while longer. But of course, he's bulking up a very big army back in the natural as his SCV count is now pretty perfect. He can stop making them. It's fully saturated on 3 bases. I mean, probably could take a 4th soon if he really wanted to, as he is dominating the aggression.
So that's Spire for the Corruptor too. I don't mind actually. Again, like you can pick off the Liberators, but also the Medivacs in this sort of situation where Mutos couldn't really dive through and get those last couple hits. But it might not matter, and it might be over a little bit too soon. Tank set up here on the high ground. Lots of Lings coming in. Tries to deal with this. Marines probably should be just picked up, frankly. Picks up that tank, and once again, just dancing around the predictability of these corrosive bile shots. Good game's gonna get called, and KeeN ties up the series 1-1. All right, now question really comes down to which of these two advances forward to fight against Mana in the semifinals. Looks like Mini Razor and Hino are ready to go. They're going to have to wait for us a little bit, unfortunately, but ideally, I guess we'll cast them first since they were ready to go, and then we'll come back to this one afterwards, and this, that, and the other. But we're getting closer and closer to the semifinals, folks. So thank you very much for joining us in the cast. Thank you for enjoying the show so far. Do we have the next game ready to go? We do. So
Yep,
we'll hold off on that.
Yeah, it's like Invader. Who picks that map? So ugly.
In the meantime, I know that I think it's Naniwa and Theo. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. They're doing some cool show matches right now. I'm actually really interested to check the VODs out for that later to see what that's going to look like, because they're doing it so they're doing like a barcode thing, which I know we've talked about the idea of wanting to do. So I think it's really cool someone else is executing it, where you don't know the identities of the players playing until later, and like furthermore, if you can get if I guess the stream can accurately guess them, it like hurts them too, so it encourages them to play differently. I don't know, it'll be really interesting to see how the results of that end up going. So you guys check that out. It's going on live right now. You can find the stream link there on Team Liquid. But here we go, loading into the game. Final game, tied up now 1-1. And spawning here in the upper left side of Invader, we've got the Green Zerg player, True Esports Guru.
The top right as the Blue Terran, he is KeeN.
Oh no, did Theo really mess up production and like accidentally reveal the names? I hope that's not actually what happened.
Oh.
It like defeats, I think, a big part of the show match. I would love though, you know what I would do? I feel like you would do, if you've got 4 matches of barcodes, right? I would set up 3 to be pretty normal. No, 2 to be pretty normal. So like again, like a KeeN versus Guru series or something, right? Nothing too insane. I would make 1 match the sickest fucking players you've ever heard of, right? Get like SOS versus Maru or something, right? And then the 4th match, I would get 2 total amateurs and just see like the vastly different play styles and like how chat reacts to it. Because regularly for us, and this is a little bit sad now because we're on no delay, Zomgrip and I get a little bit of perverse pleasure watching you guys call a game so very incorrectly when we know 3 minutes of the future it's over and it won for this guy versus that guy. Like, it's always funny when a Terran player is like winning and it's like the Zerg actually wins the game, and we sit there and we watch chat bitch about like Terran's OP and this, that, and the other, and they were like, no guys, you have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, it is actually like a guilty pleasure sometimes. But there's actually a comment, I was reading that the LR thread for it, because, you know, I do. And it was an interesting concept, and someone was like, I kind of wish this was done in the past, because now I feel like there is, like, maybe not like a super, like, you know, the skill gap hasn't like super been bridged, but I feel like there is so much chaoticness to a Legacy of the Void right now. I mean, we always talk about how balance seems entirely skewed, because the Koreans are off in their little world, like, literally now, and everyone else is here. And it's just like you have tons of different styles, and you have tons of different, like, you know, things that make each game individually look imbalanced. Like a Zerg all-in looks stupid, but then a Protoss macro game looks stupid to the Zerg type deal. Where in Heart of the Swarm at the last year, it was so predictable.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, the other thing too is like there's a lot less people with identifiable styles that are really like just out there. Like if you see Burrow Banlings, you might guess Scarlet or Tiolo. But outside of that, can you think of anything that really identifies a player as like by their strategy? Because I can't. Like, oh, he went for Marine push. That's really unique to everybody. Like, I can't. It's unfortunate, but yeah, in the past I think it would have been a lot cool. I still think it's cool they're doing it either way.
Yeah, it is. Well, Invader was the map choice for Guru, and I mean, I kind of made jokes about who picks it because it's so ugly, which is kind of true. But I think that if any Zerg finds itself in a situation that it is vertical spawn, they can have a very fun time with a roach push that we saw Guru just try, but it's horizontal, not vertical, so I'm not sure what his plan is.
Real quick, by the way, because I was confused by what was going on. The word ad block is censored on the channel because we don't love advertising it at all. And I will say, I'll be the first person to tell you, the internet is a world where you need ad block. But if you're proud about ad blocking, this channel, where we're incredibly responsible with ad block, and we don't spam you with bullshit, and you don't miss any gameplay footage to ads ever, that's not cool. You go to websites, though, that are like pop-up galore, and they're playing ads every 3 seconds on a Twitch channel. You need ad block for that shit. You straight up do. But we try to be responsible, and we 3 years consistently, we've made like three or four mistakes over 3 years with ads. We've never really messed up with them. We're very responsible. So if you're going to be proud about using ad block in the channel, we will be the first person to tell you fuck off, because that's not cool.
Yeah.
That's our living, man. Like that's how Zombie Rub and I get paid, through ad revenue.
Yeah. So there was one particular guy being vicious because he was biased, and I told him to fuck off.
Yeah,
so,
I saw that earlier, but I realized now there's some people who are confused because of the asterisks in in the reply.
He actually was really aggressively using Brifkin. Or no, wait, what is Vampires?
Vampire and Sprinkler and Trundle.
Yeah, he was gonna turn off. He's gonna turn on Vampire.
We have a really funny ban list. I didn't even realize. Bobble pointed out when I pasted the full ban word list to our mods. They're like, "Wow, this really tells a story."
Yeah. Very important. Guru is going for a Baneling bust, so it's almost like, okay, a Baneling at like 440, like what's the big deal? But it's never made until like the layer's halfway done. If you're going to be playing Needling Blades even begin with, which is also kind of rare. So a Baneling bust to start things off. He is intending to macro out of it, but KeeN, I mean, he lets them in, like literally. I was gonna say he has no bunker, but letting the supply depot down is even worse. And with that mistake, does KeeN lose the game? He's going to certainly lose a lot of SEVs. He's got double drops going to the main of Guru. And does Guru have anything to defend? He's got a couple of Lings rallied now. Not a whole lot, though.
Without base to break this. Oh, he's not actually repairing the reactor. That's huge. Oh, he gets on it in the last second. Looks like he'll hold it. It's only going to take like one Baneling to break that, too. Really unfortunate. Loses the deepest inside the front. That kind of sucks. Other side of the map, Chaos hits crazy as Guru's got nothing to defend as all of his units on the other side of the field. He can't break this wall. He gets cleaned up, and now it's KeeN who's in control of the damage this game.
Wow, this really turned. If Guru had any inclination that 2 medevacs are on the way, he could have maybe built like even 4 Banelings, but as long as they're like on the ground, would have stopped KeeN from really dropping and doing as much damage. As it is, they've kind of traded out evenly here. So 16 workers killed to 15. KeeN being down 11 is where mules really come in. And just his ability to drop, honestly, because tech is also on KeeN's side. If KeeN does everything really well, I'd actually give this game to him. And I mean dropping really well, mostly.
I will say, though, Guru's got a lot to make up for. I mean, like, for KeeN, he's got to drop 4 different bases. Guru's got a decent amount of supply roaming around the map. So I agree. Like, if KeeN can do things like absolutely perfectly, yeah, it's gonna be hard to get to that point. I would say though, nobody's really screwed right now, which is kind of funny. Usually after attacks like this, someone is so far behind, you're like, nope.
The lack of a lair still for Guru is a bit surprising, but I guess he really didn't have any gases. He just planted down, I think, 4 more.
Yeah.
And he used that gas instead to get +1 melee, which I don't know. Having the lair faster means you have the spire faster, and that's still a very long time to wait that you could accumulate more gas. But there comes the lair now. Like, KeeN is like, once he realizes the lair's only just started with one of these medevac drops scouting it, he can start going really insane with his pushes because he'll always have the option to pick up.
Potentially, yeah. So this base looks like it is going to get canceled, or at least distract the army enough that these 2 medevacs will have nothing to resist them in the main. Just to quickly cap off that last topic, though, because we've gone into sub mode because people are just being absolutely ridiculous. We don't have a problem with people using ad block. That wasn't the issue. It's about being proud and boasting about using ad block is where the problem comes in. Nice focus fire out of KeeN, though, on that Baneling. Looks like this drop will eventually get cleaned up, but not here in this first wave. Attack in the south also still not getting cleaned up. Guru tried to split some units off, and he really needed to focus all in one direction. So he's going to lose the 4th because he tried too hard to defend the main, and the main itself still took a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is starting to snowball a little bit. We still have to wait for that Spire, and that's really, I think, what's going to kill Guru here is just, another 2 minutes where he has to deal with medevac drops.
Yeah.
His fourth base, I guess, was really far away, so it makes sense that would be the first thing to die. Maybe defending 3 bases will be easier.
If you can actually get a full drop over there, that evolution chamber is going to hurt Guru so badly.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Connell, for the 5-month resub.
Kunle, Mr. Kunle. Thank you very much.
More and more drops on the way. Now, KeeN, his third TC isn't done yet, so it's going to be put in location, I think, as soon as possible, but not yet. And Guru can be kind of okay with that, I suppose, because technically it's still free-based it too.
Yo, he did this earlier, and he's doing it again, where he's prioritizing everything over speed for those banelings. The upgrades coming in, Spire on the way. No baneling speed started yet.
Well, I think that getting the Spire out should be the first priority over the upgrades, though, even. So that's the only place I'm just like, I don't know for Guru. But he wanted some powerful lings, so at least lings that could match KeeN's.
His SimCity is really hurting him there, by the way. Spire was in a bad spot. So now as the baneling comes in, he decides to pick up and go away. But again, like really good damage here out of KeeN. Not enough to change the course of the game just yet, but with his third CC being later, finally has a fighting chance.
Well, finally, the meters are coming out, so done with the mass medevac drops at the very least. Of course, 1 or 2 will probably slip through, but more importantly than dealing with medevac drops, Guru's got to get some control back in this game. That's hopefully where the mutas really come in. They catch KeeN off guard. I mean, there's no missile turrets, so it's possible. Yeah,
and if the rocks being up, it's going to be really hard for KeeN to dance around his bases, main to third type thing, but his standing army is pretty great, and if he happens to be in the same spot that Guru's going to attack, that's going to be bad for Guru. Alternatively, if he's attacking, Guru's going to not be able to use his mutas for harass if he has to defend at home. And once more, I want to just really emphasize there's still no baneling speed yet, so all these banelings being made right now, anything that goes down off creep, he doesn't stand a chance at fighting.
Yeah. At least his creep is decent. It's covering his 3 bases and a macro hatcher, I suppose, but unfortunately not his 4th. Which I can understand him trying to take it to the very south as far away as possible, so KeeN, has to spend as much time possible getting over there, but it is really stretching his army thin. Mutas are going to try and counterattack, so they won't be available to clean up any medevacs or snipe any Widow Mines, and that 4th base should just be cancelled.
Yeah, realizing that this was going to go off creep, he backs away too. I like that choice. 4th base gets canceled. Macro hatchery may be in danger of getting canceled. Looks like the mutas have come back home, which means those 2 medevacs segmented to the far north have nothing to catch them.
Oh no.
I thought for sure those would get caught, but the mutas now at home defending. He's going to get surrounded. This will be a good fight for Guru, but it might cost him too much in the main in the process. Mutas are getting low. No focus fire over here. Double drops unloading in the main as we speak. Or, there we go. Now as we speak.
There you go. There's so many medevacs. He is luckily targeting the right ones and leaving some Marines, Zerglings behind. So, okay, decent cleanup. But the extraction goes down. The Spire right after that.
Great pickoff.
Well, that's it's pretty close to being game. Guru still has not gotten any damage done. On the flip side, past the initial baneling attack, just lost a couple of mutas there too.
Yeah, this is again for me. It's so weird to watch because if there's like 3 or 4 banelings mixed into this. Maybe they get focus fired, but then also maybe they don't. This ends up being an explosively different fight. But the Mutalisks versus Marine dynamic isn't going to work. He's now got no Spire, so he's going to... Guru might end up accidentally banking a lot of gas here because he just doesn't want to waste on anything in anticipation of the Spire finishing. Which means he'll be down a bit of supply for a bit of time.
KeeN playing it pretty safe now since the tower on the way. I think he got missile turrets. Yeah, he's covered missile turrets, so this very small amount of mutas shouldn't be doing much damage at all, especially with Liberators now on the way as well. And KeeN's getting to that pretty perfect push army. Guru's finally getting a 4th base though, hopefully. It's only halfway done, but KeeN's being a little cautious of pushing out again. Guru's creep spread also is looking pretty good. That is one part that KeeN hasn't really been so keen on controlling. Is creep spread. Like, he's been trying to kill bases and actually kill Guru, and not quite doing so.
Yeah. It's been interesting watching, like, the types of attacks, but if KeeN could just... I don't know, somehow, if at any point prior to this he had identified that there wasn't speed on these banelings, I feel like there would have been a lot more direct engagements instead of, like, trying to fight around them. Liberator is going to be really scary for these mutas. 4 of them are quite a number to leave your mutalist idle for even just a second.
Down to 5 mutas now. I mean, the Spire's finally finished, so we can get Corruptors, which I think is the better choice. Baneling Speed is finally also going to be available for these fights, it looks like, which definitely was missing. But honestly, it wasn't just Baneling Speed. There was one of the Banelings in general to really be scary for KeeN, unless he got us around. And KeeN did, or Guru did. Guru had a pretty good fight. Looks like his 4th is going to be protected. There's a drop, however, as his Lings move out, so very unfortunately timed for him. That is a couple of Liberation Zones.
Yeah. Widowmines managed to catch the tail end of some of those mutas. Banelings, of course, finally have speed. Took long enough for this to happen. But with so many units here spreading out, Marauders now living through the splash damage, Liberators cleaning up everything on the ground. He picks up and backs away. Drop on the south side's got nothing to oppose it. Finds really great positioning behind these two gas geysers, between these two gas geysers. And Lings are just flooding into their death, being donated one at a time towards KeeN's army.
Yeah. Oh, that Corruptor barely doesn't get that medevac. And seriously, Guru's doing a really nice job defending for what he was given after that little worker trade, I guess we'll call it. It wasn't a base trade. But it is slowly falling out of control. Like, he is not down just 10 or 20 supply. He's going down to 30 and 40 supply. And of course, those upgrades, I'm like, kudos to him for catching up to him.
This isn't that bad engagement in the middle of the map. These Widowmines gonna do a bit of damage on top of the Lings. Liberators can be driven back. I guess Guru's supply, though, when we look at it, is all Corruptors. Seven Corruptors is like 40 supply plus the Queens. Like, that's not helpful in this situation, sadly. They may deal with the Liberators, but then what's going to deal with the Bio? And it's nothing.
And he's about to have +3. Guru getting a 2-2 from the very start of this game is pretty cool. His Lings would be doing much worse if that wasn't the case, but Bio with +3 against nothing but really Corruptors. Sim might hurt him every single time, but I think that's okay.
Well, what I'm really excited about is if this is going to be KeeN moving on, he fights against Mana in the semifinals match after this. Of course, I think we're doing Hino versus Mini Razor first, but KeeN and Mana on deck. Congratulations. He takes the series 2-1. Now, we don't want to hold these guys up, guys. We'll cut the small talk. We'll go straight to the ads, and when we get back, we'll have Mini Razor versus Hino in best of 3 over there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.